Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice and to another Dimash Monday. Dimash Kudaibergen recently performed in the sister cities' celebration of the US presidential inauguration. And one of the songs that he sang was one of his most famous, SOS d'un terrien en détresse. We have already done this song on this channel. We looked at the Slavic Bazaar version from 2018. I did that about 8 months ago. But I really wanted to see it again. It's one of my favorite songs that Dimash sings, and I think it's just particularly fabulous. I love the way it goes over a large range and how it really covers a wide variety of dynamics and tone qualities. So I wanted to check it out again and really compare how he's singing this song 2.5 years later. Now, do know this is going to be my first time watching the presidential inauguration version, but I'm going to keep both windows open the whole time so that we can compare and contrast the presidential inauguration version with the Slavic Bazaar version. Let's get to it.
Voici le SOS d'un terrien en détresse. J'ai mûri hier sur terre. Je ne prendrai pas.
Okay, a couple of things that I'm noticing right away. I'm really paying attention, by the way, to any sort of evolution that I hear in the song. That's what I'm looking for the most. But I do want to mention a few extra things as well. So far, I think that this version is the same. We might actually have the same backing track. It began in the other version as well with just some more sparse piano. And then I believe that there's a string bed that enters. I took some timestamp notes, so hopefully when I refer to the video there, they'll be a little bit close. The beginning of this piece is partly extraordinary because of the way Dimash sings just right on the edge of the air the whole time. It's like shimmery air the entire time. He's very, very, very good at just riding that air. It's like almost not even singing. It's just like air that's coming out. It's beautiful, beautiful. Now, I think that one of the big things I'm hearing so far in his voice is it just sounds like there's more depth and warmth overall in the timbre. It sounds like the voice is starting to fill out a little bit. And I think I'll probably take the first part of this and also look at the first part of the Bazaar version to show you this. It's like the first, in the Bazaar version, he has a little more lightness to the tone. It sounds a little bit more like a tenor in quality. And this one sounds like he's starting to have just a little more depth, which sounds a little closer to a baritone. Of course, Dimash is going over a huge range, and it's really hard to limit Dimash to just one voice type because he sings in so many different vocal registers and through such a huge range as well. But often it's tone quality or timbre that can be used to define a particular voice's part or type. And it sounds more to me like he's kind of settling into a lower voice type now. So let's check this out. Let's see. It's right around here where he starts in this one, I think. All right, now let's hop over to the other one. Let's go back just a little bit. You can hear that the current one has just a little more, or I should say not current, the inauguration version. There's a little more depth, a little more almost heaviness that's in that tone quality. And maybe it's just from having had more life and emotions available right away. The other thing that I like, it sounds like we might have a little more top end that's being picked up either by this microphone or maybe even in the post-production. Maybe we had a little EQ boost in the top part. And that's catching even more of that air shimmer in the inauguration version. So if you listen like to that very top end, that kind of sound, you hear it a little more in the inauguration version. Let's check this out. You hear that cut off with the air at the end? Check that out from the bizarre version now. It's still there, but it's more present in the inauguration version. All right, let's keep going for now.
Voici le SOS d'un tailleur en détresse. J'ai mûri hier sur terre. Je ne regrette besoin. Je seul de mon peau.
That little pause on top is definitely new to this version. It's like he's more comfortable with playing around with the words and letting the rhythm be a little more flexible here. So even though he's to a track, right? Both of these versions, you have him totally alone on stage, even though we hear instruments in this backing track. That means that he doesn't have somebody else collaborating with him to make that flexibility of tempo happen, but he can play with giving and taking the tempo in certain places, like what he did just here. He doesn't do that in the bizarre version. Let's keep going with this one for now. I want to compare that moment. Okay, let's see. Look at some timestamps. This could be around 1:30. Let's check this out. Yeah, Dimash definitely is getting a little more natural weight in his voice at this point. Let's check that out in here again. Yeah, that's interesting. Really interesting. So it's just filling out the sound a little bit more. That's very normal to have happen as a person matures. I feel like this moment between the two, the dono actually is the words there. You can really hear that difference. That's fascinating. Let's do that one more time. Let's go back a little more. It sounds like there's like a slight difference in the mastering volume of these two, by the way. So the one from the Bazaar sounds a little bit quieter to me. That doesn't, by the way, things often, people will perceive things when they're louder. It's just being better. Don't let that fool you. Sometimes things that are quieter are better, but it is a natural human instinct to perceive music that's louder is better. So don't just think that the inauguration version is better because it's louder, but it is louder. Oh, let's go back a more.
J'ai deux jours qu'au fond des navires avec les ponts dessinés.
You almost sounded like Cher for an instance there.
Tu me tends ma faute, je ressens quelque chose.
Yeah, definitely has more weight in the voice again. Check this out as a version. When he goes to his pop voice here, in the Bazaar version, it has a lot more of this happening. This one just has more like, more thickness in the sound. You can even hear in the cries, like they have a little more heaviness to them when he does them, like cries where he like will kind of break off of his voice. At one point, he essentially goes against her register and creates this sort of weeping noise. So you can really tell there that there's more, more heaviness in the sound. My guess is that when Dimash belts now versus 2.5 years ago, if he's really just laying it out there as loud as he can, he probably has a lot more volume as well. It's very interesting to see his voice develop. Okay, let's keep going here.
Qui m'attire, qui m'attire, qui m'attire, vole,
Ooh, I liked that a lot. I know that in the Bizarre version, it sounds a lot more lasery on this belt. This one just sounds like it has more layers to it. Like there's a little more life lived in there. Interesting, very interesting. By the way, I think this is the exact same backing track. I didn't expect that. I did look at the timestamps of about like how long each of these were, and I know that they're about the same. I really think this is the same backing track. It might have a little bit different production that's done on it. Like maybe they adjusted a couple of things, or maybe just in the mastering of one version versus another version, they have different EQ levels set. But it's sort of fascinating to hear it with the exact same backing track. I do have to say I like the election versions. I think the visuals are beautiful. I think that's really fun to see the sister cities represented by this global feeling that's going around. And it's got almost like a digital aspect to it as well, which is really interesting. Let's check out his belted high note in this version.
qui m'attire, vole,
So if I were to take that version and put it in like a spectrogram, for example, where I could see all of the different frequencies visually represented, I would guess that this version has just a few of those brighter overtones really present, whereas the inaugural version seems like it's got a wider set of overtones that are being activated. Let's check this out.
qui m'attire, vole,
Nice. I'm really curious about which hand Dimash prefers. He's consistently switching hands with his microphone, consistently switching which hand is holding the microphone. There we go. And it's interesting to see. It looks like on that high note for the version from the Bazaar, it looks like he did that with his left hand, and with the version here, he did that with his right hand. I'm curious if there's any rhyme or reason to why he's switching hands there. I know he really does a lot of visualization with his hands, so he'll do hand motions. I think it's not only for us to see the beautiful lines that he's creating, but I think it's also for him. It's really helpful for singers to have their hands and craft phrases out there in the distance. It can help you with pitch to say like high or low, or can help you thinking about a smooth line, or maybe just like a little sparkle on top. So Dimash uses this all the time. And I think it's interesting to see, maybe he prefers to use a phrasing with one hand over the other. I'm not sure. Something I just picked up on, and I'd be really curious to explore it more. Let's keep going. Whoa. That was a really interesting delay. Let's go back and get a little running start into that. Huh. So this delay is very, very pronounced. You hear it going boop, boop, boop. And it's also panning. So that means I hear it in the left side, then the right side, then the left side, then the right side. So it's very purposeful, very interesting. I don't think that they did that in this version. Let's check it out. Let's skip forward a bit. Here we go. So that's interesting. We do have like a verb on that, maybe a little bit of delay in the bizarre version. But this version in the inauguration celebration, you have that really pronounced delay. And he also does attacks as he's going up. There is a couple of reasons why he might choose to do the attacks. It might just be a stylistic choice that he wants to play around with it a little more. But what I mean is when he's going up to his high note, which is the same in both, I think it's. So he's going up to an E6 with that high note, which, by the way, I don't think we talked about this yet. This piece, I believe, was originally written to span 2.5 octaves. Dimash does it in 3. So you have, this is your first octave, from here to here is your second octave, from here to here is your third one, and then 3.5 is what gives you that top little extra bit on. He just is like, hey, I want another high note because he's Dimash. I love that. So when he's going up to that high note there, he's doing little onsets up to it, which is particularly interesting. Often that's more difficult for singers, but for Dimash, I wonder if it's actually a way, well, to switch it up a little bit, I'm sure, that it can be a way to take a little bit of weight out of the voice. So maybe that's an easier way for him to attack the high note. He's really talented and very, very technically adept. So my guess is that it's just a stylistic choice, but he might have decided he liked the sound better when he onset it with his voice now versus holding it out all the way up. Let's go back and listen to this version one more time. It's really cool.
Pourquoi je vis? Pourquoi je meurs? Pourquoi je ris? Pourquoi je pleure?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that that's an octave down now. Yeah. So that's really interesting. He decided, again, this is backing up this idea that he has more weight in the voice. It's more comfortable probably for him to sing lower at this point. He can sing anywhere, just easy. But because he has maybe more roundness in the voice, these notes on the bottom are sounding excellent, super duper excellent. So I thought that was fascinating to hear that he did this part an octave lower and then took it up, bounced it up so it would transition into a higher belty portion, which is coming up in just a moment, but let's hear that lower portion one more time. There we go. Riding that line between speaking and singing again, very nice. Oh, I love the emotion of that. more power now. That was really good. This is my favorite version of this section for sure. I think favorite performance visually, including the singer version, but this was really cool. This section had more power. He also he didn't drop it all the way down to the bottom and the repeat of the main melody. You can tell he was playing around a little bit with the rhythm and a little bit, he twisted the pitches just to do something a little different with it. I liked that a lot. Let's catch it one more time. So beautiful. Oh, there's that really cool delay again. Wow. It just, to me, this last part had more emotion here, or it had like more of his entire body behind it. Let's go to this version and see if you hear. There's that lighter tone again. Yeah. Now listen to this. Oh, just a little more. Fascinating. I love it. It is truly fascinating to be able to look at how Dimash's voice has developed by comparing these two versions, 2.5 years apart. It is clear to me that his voice is gaining more depth and warmth in the tone quality as he gets older. So if you think about it, a lot of people, when you get more weight in the voice, sometimes it's more difficult to make sound. So for the chords to go wacka, 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 it might take a little more pressure. But Dimash's technique is still just gorgeous. It's beautiful. The wacka, wacka, wacka of the vocal fold is really easy still. So I know that he's taking good care of it and it's developing it with much, much glory. And it's so exciting to see that. And it's also just really wonderful to see the comfort in this song. He's found more ease in the rhythm of the words and taking a little more time and giving a little more time to make it feel more fluid and natural. And in addition, overall, the performance still feels really fresh. It's like his message is current and now. It's not the message from 2.5 years ago. It's a message from today. So I love that he has kept it fresh in that way. So for a person who's seeing this for the first time, it feels like a wonderful first time experience instead of something that's maybe stale. Thank you to all of you for listening to both versions of this with me. If you do want me to do any other comparisons of a newer version and an older version, please let me know that in the comments down below. And also, please come say hello to me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Arizona time. That's when we have premieres on the channel. Or you can find me on Patreon or at thecharismaticvoice.com. I'll see you guys somewhere else soon.